Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel Philosmos. My name is Fumani and today I've got a very interesting topic for you today. Alright, so let's get to it. Today my topic is Unending Cycles, and this is borrowed from the Buddhist tradition and other mystical traditions that see life as a cycle. There's birth, there's death, and then there's rebirth. There's always a continuing cycle, a repeat of what was, but in a different form. And this idea is even spoken about in the Bible, where there's one scripture that says that there's nothing new under the sun. If you look at this scientifically even, we can actually study matter and realize that there's no new matter that's being created in the universe. What's actually happening is that pre-existing matter is just evolving and changing and creating new matter, which is actually derived from the old matter. So it's nothing new. It's not a new form of okay, it is a new form of matter, but it's not new matter. So it's just a new cycle, a new way of matter to express itself. So why I chose this topic for you today is because your life itself, you as a person, are an unending cycle. You have circumstances that repeat themselves in new forms, in new ways. You have certain people that occupy your life that have very similar characteristics. Even though you end friendships or relationships, you get into a new one, you realize that person has that same characteristic or that same kind of behavior. Okay, and this is also down to your thinking and your feeling. Your thoughts are nothing but repetitive thoughts that you have occupied in the past, your feelings as well, same thing goes. So I'm going to give you 3 ways to create a new cycle, so that that cycle can now continuously work unto itself without you actually perpetuating it. But of course, it starts off with you being the propeller in that circumstance. So the first point is identify synchronicity. So before I get to this point, I just would like to make you understand what this word synchronicity means, because unending cycles themselves are synchronistic events. So I'll just say synchronicity here. That's a subtitle. Okay, so a synchronistic event is basically, I'm being as reductive as possible, is when you hold an image in your mind, okay, and you find that image in your mind transpiring in the physical world. For instance, if I contemplated calling my friend and moments later my friend actually calls me. So it's an image in the mind that actually occurs in the physical world, maybe not exactly the same way, the same exact way that your mind pictured it, but there are similarities. So if you'd like to change the cycles that are actually occurring in your life, you need to identify the synchronicities. So basically, look at the symbols in your life and look at the characteristics. Okay, so firstly with the symbols, look at the images that are continuously fluctuating in your mind. Look at the characteristics that you are exuding. And then further from that, once you've looked at the synchronistic events within you, the mentality that you carry, the feelings that you carry, the behavior that you continuously find yourself doing, then you'll get to the point now where you're able to look at your physical reality, your external world, your external experience, and see how they correlate, how there's actually a connection between your thoughts, your feelings, your characteristics, now demonstrating themselves in the circumstances in your life and the people that actually occupy your consciousness. So once you've identified the synchronistic events, then you need to move yourself to the point where you create new synchronicities. Now this is the portion that will probably create a lot of resistance, especially if you're not very attuned to your new cycle in the emotional way. However, basically creating a new cycle, creating a new synchronistic event can only occur once you've identified the synchronistic and cycles that are actually occurring in your life, that are putting you and ensuring that you stay within a specific position. So once you create new experiences and new synchronistic events, you follow that same procedure that I showed here. Now you need to access new symbols, look at new images. So look at your room, for instance, the one place that you are most vulnerable in. And then place new images in your room or visualize new images every day. Thus, you take yourself to a point where your brain is now encoding that and placing it into its database so that in the near future or sooner or later, it will extract from that information that you've given it. So once you've formed new symbols, once you've formed new characteristics even, you need to change certain behaviors that you exude as a person, the kind of thinking, the kind of feeling that you find yourself participating in. You need to now, I spoke about this in my previous videos, accessing the bandwidth of your thoughts and your feelings, okay? That will encounter a lot of resistance. Do not try and change that cycle. Do not try and change the thoughts and the feelings. All you need to do is focus all your energy on implanting the new synchronistic cycle and the new events that you'd like. So always have a clear, very vivid image of the people that you want in your life, the circumstances that you want in your life, and the kind of thinking and the feeling that you would like to find yourself occupying. And then once you get to that point, then you'll move to extracting synchronistic events and cycles. So this occurs because now you've primed your brain, you've primed your mind to be able to look at the environment and literally decode information and extract information that is beneficial for you. Because if we look at certain circumstances, they may seem very, how can I say it, unchanging. They seem as if it is fixed in that specific way and there's no way to actually extract new information. This is where you're going to have to amplify imagination. I'm paraphrasing here, but this is actually a quote that Albert Einstein said. He said, imagination will take you everywhere. Logic only gets you from point A to point B, but imagination encircles the world. Basically, that's just a paraphrase. If you're interested in actually reading that quote, look it up. But you're getting the gist of it, that imagination is what will enable you to be more malleable and to enable your reality to be more malleable as well. Because now you're taking yourself to the point where you're not looking at logic, you're not looking at the facts, you're looking at the facts that you would like to see. The human mind is very powerful. It's very powerful. It's able to take something that is non-existent, something that is intangible, something that is just an idea, and then somehow, some way, through the communication that it has with the physical world, it's able to mold that idea into something physical that you can actually experience. So if you would like to extract information that is actually beneficial to you, what you're actually doing is you're creating a cycle now. You're creating a new cycle that will perpetrate itself just by you continuously decoding reality in the form and the shape that you would like to see it in. So even if something happens, let's just say, for instance, you're looking for a job and you go for an interview and you're declined. You're not really accepted. The manager says you're not really qualified, whatever the reason is. Now you need to amplify imagination here. You need to get yourself to the point where you're able to visualize this circumstance that just happened, and then from that visualization you need to extract the cycle that you would like to see. So even if you were not accepted, even though you were rejected, you need to play the images in your mind as if you did get accepted, as if you did get the job. What happens out there is just fluctuations. What happens in the physical world is just fluctuations. Fluctuations, in essence, are made to change. They are designed to change. Thus, if you get yourself to the point where you see reality for how you would like to see it, not for the way it presents itself, but you see it the way you would like to see it, and you have this clear, vivid image that is in your mind as to how you would like to see it, then reality will only mold itself based on how you truly want to see it. Of course, this requires a lot of investigation and a lot of discipline in meditation as well. But these three principles are the best ways to ensure that you create new cycles of experiences, new cycles of circumstances, and new cycles of social interactions. Thus, you're able to take yourself to the point now where you're using the loop, the cycle of life to your advantage. You're not perpetually enabling suffering, but now you're perpetually enabling happiness and peace and love. So thank you very much, guys, for listening to this lecture. I will elaborate on this much further. In fact, I'm actually going to write a blog about this. If you're not attuned to what my blog is about, I'll send you a link at the bottom of my video. And yes, thank you very much, guys, for tuning in. Please subscribe. And to end it off, as I always end it off, for those who seek, seek no more, for in the present we find it all. Thank you very much, guys.